Good afternoon, I'm Kelly Antonacci. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this breaking news. Comedian and former Temple University trustee Bill Cosby has been found guilty on all counts. The verdict comes after a 2-week retrial. People left the courtroom in tears right here. The panel of 7 men and 5 women reached a decision after deliberating 14 hours over the span of 2 days. Cosby serves a maximum of 30 years in prison. The maximum sentence is 10 years in prison and a fine of $25,000 on each of those 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. He is likely to get less than that under state sentencing guidelines, but given his age, even a modest sentence could mean he could die behind bars. Our Cassie Simeon joins us now from the newsroom to break down the major events from both of the trials. Cassie.
Thank you, Kelly. This all began back in December 2015 when Cosby was arrested on charges of aggravated indecent assault. The first trial began in June of 2017. Of course, this initial trial ended in a mistrial after 52 hours of deliberation. In June of 2017, Cosby's retrial began just 2 weeks ago, and after just 14-hour days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Now, the next step, of course, is the sentencing. We don't have a date on that quite yet, but when we do, we will bring you that information. Live from the newsroom, I'm Cassie Simeon. Kelly?
Thank you, Cassie. Now, Cosby earned his bachelor's degree from Temple in 1971. He also served on the Board of Trustees for over 30 years. He resigned in December of 2014. Now, we're joined live now by Jim Gross on the phone. He's a private attorney here in Philadelphia. Thank you, Jim, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So this trial was decided over the span of 2 days in just 14 hours. Last summer, it took 6 days. How is this different?
Well, it's shocking in its swiftness because I know you stated 14 hours, but I can't imagine it was even that long. Maybe just from the logistics of the jury being sequestered, then the back and forth, and maybe just staying overnight. Who knows? I bet you they deliberated they reached their determination even sooner than that. But the swiftness is what really, really shocks me.
Right, and another notable difference between the two trials was the defense changed its tactics a little more aggressive this time. Was there anything they could have done to prevent a verdict like this?
Well, I have to say that I think from the snippets of things that I had heard and read, the defense was so aggressive that they may have reached a little too far and possibly offended the jury. Because they may have gone beyond that realm of the threshold of civility in the courtroom. And I don't know if the layperson really takes to that very well when it's such a delicate and sensitive case to begin with. So they may have overreacted and overstated their position, and their bravado may have been a little bit too strong.
And Jim, now you predicted this outcome earlier on our show this morning. You said they would reach a guilty verdict. Now, do you think the judge will administer the maximum sentence? Of course, to remind everyone here, that's up to 10 years for each count and up to a $25,000 fine. Do you think he'll get that maximum sentence?
Well, initially, I believe that he would be found guilty on one of the 3 counts. I believe there were 3. And that could have given the judge more room, perhaps for a sentence that would not involve incarceration. And then just thinking about it for a minute, I thought, based on his age and his alleged infirmity, that the judge may feel better suited to do something in a non-incarceration setting, but still very regulated and very, shall we say, patrolled. But now, even thinking about it further, and listening to you and the impact of the guilty on all counts, I think the judge is going to be hard-pressed to move away from that, especially with the criticism and the backlash he may get if incarceration is not part of the sentence. So I think the judge will give him some compassion inevitably. Do I think it'll be enough to alleviate a sentence of non-incarceration? No.
So now the defense has one more course of action to take. They could appeal this decision. Do you think that's something that would happen?
Absolutely, they'll appeal it. Absolutely. The question is whether pending the appeal, whether they'll be successful in allowing Cosby to be out. Because if the judge renders a sentence of incarceration within 3 months from now, will they be successful in having the judge allow Cosby to be free pending the disposition of the appeal, which could take 1.5 years or 2 years possibly? So that's the real issue. They're definitely going to appeal. Definitely going to appeal. No question about it.
All right. Well, the future is uncertain, but we will be looking for that. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you coming on Temple Update once again. Now, I want to take you now to a live feed from Norristown at the Montgomery County Courthouse. This is the scene here now, waiting for comments from the defense, from the prosecution of the events that happened today. Again, Cosby has been found guilty by the jury on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. He could face up to 10 years in prison for each of those counts and a $25,000 fine. We'll, of course, keep you updated on our website, templeupdate.com, as we receive more information. But for now, that's all we have. This has been a developing story. Be sure to check out, again, templeupdate.com. We now return to your regularly scheduled programming. I'm Kelly Antonacci. Thank you for joining us.